and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to another live Manchester United news, transfer news and update show. We do have the Fulham match kicking off at 4:30 today, so there will be a match reaction later. And if we get time at the end of the live stream, we will discuss a little bit about the Fulham game. But Manchester United look like they've got pretty much two big breakthroughs coming in regards to exits. Hojlund, there's now reports going out of Italy that Hojlund is basically open to the Napoli move, is going to agree to the Napoli move. We know that Napoli know what they need to give Manchester United. We know what Manchester United will agree to. We know Hojlund leaving is sort of down to Hojlund finding an agreement with the club. That's why he didn't go to AC Milan. And reports coming out about that agreement with Hojlund and Napoli set to be met and potentially be rounded up on Monday. But even bigger news coming in, Antony has agreed terms with Real Betis, and Real Betis are now ready to offer Manchester United a better offer because their loan offers were rejected, and some sources say that Betis are now ready to pay up. Now, I think if Betis give us a permanent offer, it's still going to be crap and it's still going to be very low. But indications of two big advancements in regards to exits. So we've got a breakthrough in Hojlund, it looks like, with him set to agree to the Napoli move, but Betis breakthrough as well, with them potentially paying up. We're going to talk about Bruno to Saudi, the latest on that. Ben Jacobs, who is very well connected with Saudi clubs, has given an update in regards to the news about Bruno Fernandes moving to Saudi, what he knows. Lammens, the deal for Lammens is very, very close. He's not involved in the Royal Antwerp squad today. That is expected to be rounded up very soon. 14-year-old youngster JJ Gabriel was absolutely balling it out for the under-18s yesterday. He is our Lamine Yamal. Like, that's the only way I can explain it. He's the reason Barcelona want him. He's seen as the left-wing Lamine Yamal. Amran views him highly. We're going to talk about Amran, watching him, having a plan for him. And then, we'll discuss the Fulham game later, the squad, Sesko could be involved, all of that stuff. So I hope you guys are all doing well. It's not going to be a particularly long live show because I am on holiday, but I want to discuss all the news and all of that as well. Less than 10 days to get rid of Garnacho and Sancho. Chelsea will pay out for Garnacho. They're not that confident in Gittins. He didn't get many minutes versus West Ham. He wasn't great in the first game. He's very young. He's very raw. They will want another attacker, Chelsea, and they probably want a centre-back as well. I'm surprised they're going in with Sanchez in goal because Donnarumma is set to go to Manchester City, and Manchester City fans were giving me stick online this morning because I said, what was the point in them signing Trafford? And they're saying, oh, because and I get that you didn't think Edison was going to go and then he is going to go. But I do feel sorry for James Trafford. Like, he was crap for City yesterday, but he signed for City, and then he's had a bad game and they've signed Donnarumma. And it's like, that's brutal. That's brutal. And I feel like he could have been good at a mid-table club playing every week in the Premier League. But it is what it is. But City set to get Donnarumma. We're set to get Lammens. So let's dive into it. City losing means if we win today, we're equal on points with them. It's game week 2. So, reports coming out from Italy say this. Rasmus Hojlund has given his approval to join Napoli. Boom, 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 boom. The feeling is that Monday could be key to determine the outcome of the negotiations. We know that clubs are willing to give Manchester United sort of what they want for Hojlund, but Hojlund was reluctant to join any club because he wants a permanent deal, blah, 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 blah. There's now reports coming out from Italy that Hojlund is now given the green light to Napoli. Now, that is big because he never gave the green light to Milan. Milan went in for Victor Boniface. Now, Core Sport, it's not Fabrizio Romano, it's not David Ornstein. Do take it with a pinch of salt because a lot of Italian media was telling us that Sancho to Juventus was done and that Sancho to Inter was done, and it was not done. And Italian media have been telling us that this deal is done and that deal is done, and it was not done. Or they didn't necessarily say Sancho is done, but they were saying Sancho has agreed terms. Sancho has accepted this. Man United agreed this with Juventus, which basically would hint it's getting done. And that wasn't the case. So we do have to take Italian media with a pinch of salt. But if this is true, this is the breakthrough we need to get Hojlund out. He's not involved in the travelling squad versus Fulham. He sort of knows he needs to go. He needs to leave Manchester United because he's not going to have much involvement. But Hojlund is fighting for a permanent, not alone, because he doesn't want to be this time next year part of the bomb squad looking for a move. So Rasmus Hojlund sort of in this position now where reports are coming out saying he's given the green light to Napoli, which is the breakthrough we needed. So we'll have to wait and see if Romano, Ornstein, any of the United-based journalists speak up on this. But I think the fact that Hojlund isn't involved in the squad, that talks of Napoli is still ongoing, I think that Hojlund probably will give the green light to Napoli. With him not being involved in the squad again, I'd be very shocked if Hojlund turned down Napoli and if he turned down these clubs, knowing he's not really going to get minutes at Man United as much as he wants to stay. But yeah, reports coming out of Hojlund giving the green light. I probably believe he is given some kind of indication or green light. I think I'd be shocked if he wanted to stay. But does that mean we're going to get permanent, or is it going to be a loan? I think United will accept either or, but I think Man United and Hojlund will push for a permanent. But look, it could always be a loan. It's Manchester United. We're not good at selling, but Hojlund is on low wages. I think the fact Hojlund, the player himself, is pushing for a permanent may put more pressure on Napoli to do a permanent deal. And Damasio said that Napoli haven't exactly ruled out doing a permanent deal. Alex said, thought we would have gotten sales done before this late in the window, just get a few done regardless. I agree. Players due to be moved out should be shipped out at the beginning of the transfer window. Deals always seem to happen towards the end. And true. Andy Mitten did say one of the reasons behind it is a lot of players want to stay, then they realise by the end of the window that they've been replaced and they're not going to get a lot of minutes. Hojlund wanted to stay, made that very clear. He probably didn't know if we were going to sign Sesko or not because of all the reports saying we missed out on Yokres, we missed out on Dalat, we missed out on Ekatike. We weren't linked to Sesko until late. Hojlund probably thought, okay, I'm going to get minutes, blah, blah, blah. Then we signed Sesko. He's realised he's been kicked out. It's a mixture of one, Betis are going to wait until deadline to get Antony for cheaper. Chelsea are going to wait until deadline to get Garnacho for cheaper. Sancho's running down his deal. But two, some players like Hojlund didn't want to leave. Oh, I've been replaced. I should probably look at leaving. It's a mixture of things. And also it's the fact that it's Manchester United. We're not good at selling. Teams know that we cave, that we're desperate. We give out silly wages. But you are right. It's frustrating that it's gone on this long. It's frustrating that it's gone on this long in terms of just getting players out the door. But obviously I get why United wouldn't sell Hojlund unless they signed a striker, because then we'd only have Xerxes, who isn't currently fit going into the season, and we'd be in a weaker position. If we'd sold Hojlund and we're going in for strikers, then clubs might have said, oh, but you need a striker, blah, 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 blah. But there is talk of it being a 47 million deal for Hojlund, which is £40 million. So we can get £40 million for a Hojlund exit, loan with obligation. I'll be happy with that. I do agree that, look, it could have been easier for Hojlund. I think that Hojlund came into United at the worst time as a young striker. He lacked service. He didn't have an experienced striker to learn from. There was a lot of pressure on him. And, I think there was a good player there that's confidence was drained. And I think that Hojlund leaving will be good for his career. I think Hojlund is a good player. I think that it never really went his way at United, and some people want Hojlund to be given more time. But I just think at Manchester United, we can't be giving players 3 seasons. I think it was unfair of Hojlund to come in and expect so much of him so early on and not give him the service and not do this and not do that. But I think he has to go for his own career as well. I think he can get his career back on track in Italy. We are going to talk about Antony in just a second. Garnacho and Antony, we've known they've wanted out all summer. Ideally, both would have entertained other clubs' offers. Yeah, I think as well, had Antony and Garnacho been entertaining other clubs, potentially their exit could have happened sooner. Now, interestingly, Romano said this, and I don't think it's related to Hojlund, but AC Milan wanted Hojlund. They couldn't get the agreement for Hojlund in time. They went and got Victor Boniface. He's gone and done his medical. Maybe he's failed his medical or something, because after medical tests at AC Milan, Boniface returns to Germany because there's no green light for his move. After 48 hours in Milano, Boniface will be back in Leverkusen today waiting for AC Milan's decision. Is this a case of he's failed his medical and AC Milan don't know if they want Boniface? Is this a case of AC Milan have now learned that Hojlund is open to moving to Italy and maybe they want to hijack the Napoli deal? I don't know. I think Hojlund's going to go to Napoli. I actually think Napoli is probably the better move for Hojlund out of the two clubs. But now that Victor Boniface might not happen, something interesting could be going on there. We'll have to wait and see in regards to that, see if AC Milan enter the race for Hojlund. Yeah, I hope Hojlund does very well. I really want Hojlund, wherever he goes, to just smash it, because I do believe there's a good player there. I really want him to do well because he gives 100%. He tries, and I think he's probably heartbroken it's not worked at United. And I just want his career to get back on track. So let's talk about Antony, because we've got some updates, and it looks like Betis could finally be ready to pay up. So Simon Jones of the Mail had come out this morning and said that Real Betis are planning to put forward a new proposal for Antony to Manchester United. Manchester United on Monday after their initial attempt at a loan deal earlier in the summer was dismissed. So Betis are ready to put forward a new offer for Antony. Now, earlier in the window, they were trying loan proposals for Antony. They were trying really silly proposals or ideas of them buying 50% of Antony and us keeping 50% of his rights and all of this and all of that. It's now coming out from Simon Jones of the Mail that Betis are preparing up another offer. They know their previous offers were rejected. So either they're one, going to try loan again and hope Man United change their mind because it's closer to the deadline, or B, they're actually going to give us a permanent offer and a bit closer to what we want. Now they've agreed terms of Antony. Now Antony's pushing for the move. Now it's getting late in the window. Isco's injured. They don't want to miss out on Antony. Maybe they're like, hey, we're going to have to do this permanent deal for Antony. La, 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 la. But it's interesting. Hopefully that is the breakthrough we need in terms of Betis finally paying up. I'm glad, and as Alex mentions here, we didn't cave. We didn't allow Antony to leave on loan already. We keep telling Betis we want a permanent. We keep telling Chelsea we want 50 million. Chelsea pay up, Betis pay up. We keep telling them what we want, and we haven't caved on that, which is good from a Manchester United perspective. So I think in regards to Betis, it looks like we could finally be getting the breakthrough there. We've got a little breakthrough in terms of Hojlund giving the green light to Napoli, and now Betis ready to come up with offers, and that could be the double breakthrough this week that we need to get those two players out the door, which might give us funds for a final midfield signing. Sully also came out with some updates in regards to Antony. Sully is a very credible source of information, and you've got to remember only yesterday Fabrizio Romano came out and confirmed that talks are back on between Antony and Betis, so we know that talks are back on, and Sully has come out and said this: Real Betis are advancing in talks with Manchester United for Antony. New offer being prepared from Betis with Antony pushing for the move, who rejected two Saudi proposals. Antony's rejected Saudi proposals. Garnacho's rejected Bayern Munich. Garnacho's rejected everybody. But Real Betis are in talks with United for Antony, and they're preparing a new offer. Personal terms are verbally agreed, and Betis want to reach an agreement before the window ends. So basically, again, Sully, another good source of information, is saying that Betis are ready to come in with a new offer. They know what Manchester United want. They know what Manchester United are willing to accept. We keep rejecting the loans. Betis might finally be coming in with the permanent offer that we've been waiting for. The permanent offer that needs to sort of happen to get this move moving along. We know Antony wants the move. Apparently Antony's willing to take a 25 or 30% wage cut to facilitate this move, has verbally agreed terms, which is good, but we're just waiting for some final advancements. But the new offer in regards to Antony is set to come through, and that could be the breakthrough that we want in regards to Antony. The big transfer that we want to happen is Garnacho. Garnacho's the guy that's going to bring in most of the funds, but with Hojlund ready to leave, with Betis ready to bid up for Antony, if we can get those breakthroughs, it will be big. I'm not that confident. I'm not that confident we're going to win, but I hope we do. I think we played well versus Arsenal, but I thought we always played all right versus the bigger teams under Amorim. It was the smaller teams where we struggled to break them down. But I really liked what I saw from Cunha and Bruno, and I think it's going to be close. I think we're going to win 2-1. I think we will win, but I think it will be very close. I don't think it's going to be easy. I don't think it's going to be like a nice 3-0 win. I'd love a 3-0 win, but yeah, we need midfielders. This club, lol, they can't see it. We do need midfielders, and I think with Hojlund, Antony, Garnacho potentially going, maybe there's some funds there for a late Baleba bid or a late bid on some kind of midfielder. I think the fact that, we've looked at Baleba, Santos, Wharton, Stiller, at least the board know we need a midfielder. At least Amorim knows we need a midfielder, and hopefully they're as desperate to get one as we are. Talking of midfielder, Bruno Fernandes. There's been a lot of reports in the media of Saudi backing for Bruno, Saudi trying to open talks with Bruno, see if they can convince him to come. Obviously, I spoke about this yesterday. Bruno rejected Saudi. I don't think Bruno's going to go to Saudi. Despite Saudi clubs being back in and trying again, he rejected Saudi for a reason. He wants to stay at Manchester United. He got praise for that. I don't think Bruno's going to go to Saudi, but a lot of Saudi sources are saying that they're working on it, seeing if they can convince him to come. All of that. I said, let's wait and see what a Ben Jacobs or like a well-clued up journalist says on Bruno to Saudi. And it was actually said by Ben Jacobs that Al Ittihad, they appreciate Bruno, but he said there's been no formal developments regarding a transfer. Fernandes has reiterated to multiple Saudi sides he wants to stay at United for at least another year. So maybe Bruno to Saudi in 2026, Baleba to United in 2026 could be one to watch. But as I said in my video yesterday, a lot of people were saying, sell Bruno so we can get Baleba. I don't think it's a case of selling Bruno and we get Baleba, because Baleba's the Casemiro Ugarte replacement. Still, Wharton would probably be the Bruno replacement. We still need the Casemiro Ugarte replacement. But I said I don't think Bruno's going to go to Saudi despite these talks going on. I don't think he's entertaining them. And Ben Jacobs seems to be saying the same. It doesn't look like Bruno is going to go to Saudi despite these conversations ongoing. Thank you very much for the super chat. I do think the club is doing its best given our position last year, albeit not ideal. Also, salute from Mizoram Alice. I have no idea what is that a place, Mizoram? I have no idea where that is, but thank you very much for the super chat. Yeah, I think, to be honest, I partly agree with what you're saying. I think the fact that we finished 15th, we haven't had many sales, we signed 2 Premier League proven talents in Cunha and Mbumo. We went and got Sesko ahead of Newcastle, and we got that deal wrapped up pretty quickly. And then right after we finished Sesko, we went in for Baleba. It makes me confident we're showing ambition. We're getting Lammens in the door. We've got the 3 attackers in the door. For me, Lammens, Baleba, Sesko, Cunha and Mbumo is a 9 out of 10 window. It's only not a 10 out of 10 window purely off the basis of the sales, but it's a 9 out of 10 window. And I think the fact that that's what we're trying to do, and after Lammens, we want to get Baleba. I like the fact that we're trying and we're going for the right names. I feel like we've got the right approach this transfer window, which is good to see. Highly rate Bruno, but positionally he's difficult to fit. This is the thing. Oh, over in India. Thank you for watching. Highly rate Bruno, but positionally difficult fit. This is the thing. Bruno is our best player, and because our squad still lacks a bit of quality this year, we still need Bruno in and around the squad. But he doesn't work fully in the 8 and he doesn't work fully in the 10. Bruno doesn't fit the system, and in certain games as an 8, he's going to be a liability. Now we've got Cunha and Mbumo and Mount and Xerxes all able to play 10 and Ahmad able to play 10. We need Bruno to be an 8 more than a 10. Now, I think when you are looking to dominate possession, Bruno is absolutely fine in that deeper role. But I think sometimes when we don't have as much possession, he can be a liability out of possession. So, yeah, I love Bruno. I think Bruno is a quality player. And I wouldn't sell him because I think we've gone through so much change this year that I think losing Bruno would be too big of a change. And I think while he doesn't fully suit the system, he's that one guy that can just get us going. We can be 2-0 down and he can get us going and make it 3-2 or 2-2 like that Everton game last year. He's that guy that is just so good that he can produce a moment to do this and do that and get us out the deep end. But he doesn't fully suit the system. So next summer we'll have to look at getting Bruno out and maybe getting in 2 players, one to replace Casemiro, one to replace Bruno, that suit the pivot that Amram wants to play, that suit the system Amram wants to play. But a lot of people want to sell Bruno now. I just don't see it. I don't know why you want to sell Bruno now. I feel like when Bruno leaves, we will really start to appreciate what he brings, because yes, he has liabilities, yes, he has limitations, yes, he doesn't fully suit the system, but he brings so much on off the ball work rate, the passes, the progressive passes. He was like second for ball recoveries last year, despite being an advanced midfielder, the mentality side, the leadership side. There's so much that Bruno brings that this team needs. So even if he has the odd bad game, he's also the one guy that we know can pull us through the dirt, and he's always available. And for me, that's big things there. So I wouldn't sell Bruno. I think that he's underappreciated by our fan base. I think if he played for a really good side in a 4-2-3-1 as the number 10, he'd be considered up there like De Bruyne. I honestly feel like that. I feel like he's that level of player, but it doesn't really suit our system. So hopefully Manchester United make 2 more signings. We are going to make 1 more signing in Senne Lammens unless something goes very badly wrong. But hopefully we make 2 more signings and we do bring in a midfielder. But I do want to get into the latest on Senne Lammens. Romano said that United are proceeding in talks to get the Senne Lammens deal done. If it follows exclusive update on Friday on talks underway and agreement with goalkeeper. Royal Antwerp want 25 million euros, talks on going around 20 million euros of add-ons. It would have been 17 million plus 3 if it was any other club. Now they want 20 plus 5 because it's Manchester United. They're putting the price up because it's Manchester United. It's annoying. They're taking the mick. I hope we don't cave. I hope we use them as an example of we've already got Bayendier, we've already got Anana, we've already got 2 keepers at the club. Remember that. Stop putting the price up because it's Manchester United, please. But yeah, that has been reported that United are proceeding in talks to get the deal done. It should be done. Personal terms agree with Lammens. It's just Royal Antwerp seeing that United are in for their player, putting up the price, taking the mick a little bit as they do. It's just Manchester United tax. And hopefully we can negotiate that down. Hopefully the fact that we still have our keepers at the club, even if they're not the best keepers, Hopefully, the fact that we still have keepers at the club, even if they're not the best keepers, can say we can use this negotiation tactic. Sorry, that was my point. I was saying hopefully we can use still having 2 keepers at the club as a negotiation tactic to bring down the price, even if it is Bayendir or Anana. Alice, do you think we'll sign a midfielder? I don't know. I think it could be last minute bid for Baleba, or it could be a loan Amrabat little deal late as just an extra number, maybe. But then that being said, I feel like if we were going to just bring in a midfielder late, we would have looked at someone like Polinia maybe. So I don't know if I'm going to be totally honest if we'll sign a midfielder. So I was just reading something to see if there's any updates coming in. Yeah, the Saudi stories are full of crap, probably, yeah. Fulham will not give us much space. Yeah, Mbeumo will not have the same amount of space today. I don't think he'll struggle on Mbeumo, but I think it's Fulham is a very different game to Arsenal. We did well versus Arsenal. Yeah, and we're doing well against the top teams because they do give us a bit of space, and I think Amrin has improved us in many aspects. But I agree in the sense of Fulham, it's going to be a different game to Arsenal. The games we struggled in last year, not Fulham because we actually beat them twice last year, but the games we struggled in were against teams about the level of Fulham last year, where they were the mid-table teams that were compact and we struggled to break them down. We struggled against the likes of Fulham last year in terms of their sort of 14th to sort of 7th place. We really struggled against. We did all right against the top clubs like City, Liverpool, Arsenal, but we struggled against that sort of 14th to 7th. So I think it will be an interesting game in regards to what happens against Fulham because it will be a low block. It'll be interesting to see how we do. But look, Mbeumo is such a talented player. He does find his own space. I'm not worried about him. I haven't seen Lammens, but sounds promising. Yeah, very good shot stopper, Lammens. They're just putting the price up because it's United. People think Fulham will play us off the park in midfield. I mean, there is concerns over the midfield. But look, I think we've got the quality to beat Fulham. Also, it was said in regards from Jamie Jackson that Manchester United are expecting the Lammens move to come official imminently. The feeling is that Lammens to Manchester United is going to be a done deal. It's going to be a done deal soon. Then we'll advance on the exits, and then hopefully we bring in a midfielder late. I actually wanted to get into something quickly that was said by Mike Keegan and Nathan Salt last week. And they said last week that Ruben Amorim is taking a keen interest in the progress of JJ Gabriel and is being kept updated by academy staff in regards to JJ Gabriel. And during pre-season tour, Amorim was watching clips of the youngster. Now, the 14-year-old apparently has been told he can be involved in a few training sessions, is playing really well for the under-18s at several year groups up. And we talked about Max Dowman at Arsenal yesterday, but JJ Gabriel is what United see as their Lamine Yamal, Max Dowman level talent that they need to hold on to. And Ruben Amorim taking a liking for a player and potentially offering a pathway could mean that we can fight Barcelona off for another 2 years. But JJ Gabriel, obviously one to watch. Maybe he's involved next preseason tour. He'd still be very young. But it's scary, the potential that he has. And Amorim is taking a liking to him. Just by Luciano Gomez and Hayden Hackney, better cheaper than Baleba deal. They're not better than Baleba, but they're cheaper. And, you know, it's someone to get us through the season. But JJ Gabriel was on fire yesterday. Fulham doesn't play a low block. They aren't a traditional mid-table team. They like to play football at times, but I think they could play a lower block against us because of who we've got in attack. Do want to see more of the promising youth given chances, could save us some funds, 100%. The one thing about Amorim is his system requires a lot of money to be spent on a lot of players, and we've not seen a lot of the youth yet. So I would like to see the youth and how they integrate in. Obviously, Aiden Heaven technically is the youth player that's integrating in the most, although we did buy him. Aiden Heaven's looking like a steal, but I want to see if we can get JJ Gabriel involved, not quite now, he's 14, but in the future, see if we do anything with Mantato in the future. It'd be nice to see some young players get more involved under Amorim. We got everybody, we've got over 1,000 people watching. In regards to the Fulham game, what is your score prediction, guys? I think it's going to be a 2-1 win to Manchester United. I don't think Sesko's going to start. I think he's going to start the exact same team that started versus Arsenal, but have Ahmad instead of Delo. I think it's going to be the exact same team that started versus Arsenal, but have Ahmad playing instead of Delo. I think Sesko will come off the bench. I think Mason Mount did really well. Kuna did really well. And Boomer did really well. He might not want to swap that. And that's what I think we're going to see. I think we're going to win 2-1. I don't know what you guys are thinking. Would you start Sesko, but you'd have to drop maybe Mount to start Sesko, and Mount was really good last game and maybe doesn't deserve to be dropped. I mean, there's always questions over like who would you start, this and that. But yeah, Sesko's involved in the squad. Hojlund isn't involved in the squad. And the match is at 4:30, and I just really want to win. I feel like because we didn't win the first game of the season and we actually deserve to win, I really, really want to win today. Like I just feel like it's nice to just get the 3 points and get the win under the bag. Negative from Ginge, 3-1 to Fulham. I mean, does anyone think Fulham's going to win? I mean, I think it's got draw written all over it, but I'm going to back United to win because I want us to win. But I feel like it's one of those that has draw written all over it. Big up Diego saying 1-0 United. I could see that happening. Big up everybody. Yes, guys, please do go ahead and hit that like button if you have not already. But boom, we're going to wrap up the live show here. Thank you everyone for watching today's live show. I will be back with a match reaction to Manchester United versus Fulham later. I'll see you guys.